Wow. Did you ever feel like you died and went to heaven? So first of all, I want to thank God for informing and inspiring the brothers of the Word to invite me to come here. So I did not create the 7 mindsets. I also want to thank Scott Schickler and Jeff Waller, who developed the 7 mindsets. And it was through them that I learned the 7 mindsets, and it's through them that I'm presenting them to you and to everyone that I do it for. The 7 mindsets, and if you go to 7mindsets.com, you'll see that the 7 mindsets were developed by Scott and Jeff as a social emotional learning curriculum for elementary, middle, and high schools. And we've reached over 500,000 students around the country and overseas. And when you hear what the 7 mindsets are, and you receive them, and you absorb them, and you integrate them into your mind, into your heart, you'll understand the power of bringing this to young people. Young people are learning these 7 mindsets every day in schools around the country. And it's not only teaching them, what schools usually do is teach them what to think, but this teaches them how to think. How to think in 7 ways that are the way the people who have achieved the greatest feats in life think. And it's how you think, how people think who have achieved the highest levels of happiness. To me, the 7 mindsets are keys to the kingdom of heaven on earth. It's very, very heavy, what we're going to look at today. So there are 7 mindsets. Now, I think we have the PowerPoint that's going to be on the screen and that you can see it. And let's go to the next slide. And let's go to the next slide and the next one. I want to get right into the meat of it. There we go. So there are 7 mindsets, 7 ways that I'm going to help you to use your mind starting tonight. And as you use your mind in these ways, there is no limit to what you can accomplish by the grace of God. There's no limit to the level of joy you will experience by the grace of God. There's no limit to what you will find yourself accomplishing by the grace of God. Using these 7 mindsets, you tap into an energy, to a power that is within you, that you were born to express. And through a principle that's called neuroplasticity, your brain will literally be reshaped to function as the great. And I know that you've experienced some trauma in your life. And trauma is what we experience when something happens in our daily life and we get triggered into frozen or into fear. And what's beautiful about the 7 mindsets is as you use your mind this way, you develop brain patterns that overcome the trauma patterns. But the ones who will benefit the most from you using the 7 mindsets more and more religiously are your children. Because when you start bringing the 7 mindsets into your home, not only will you experience extraordinary results with your children, but you'll experience extraordinary results in any situation in life. But you'll be imparting to them the empowerment of these 7 simple ways of approaching any problem, any situation. I talk to business people about this and teach them how to get together and sit around a table and use the 7 mindsets to change and solve any problem that they're facing. I teach it to parents who are dealing with children. I teach it to couples. I teach it to individuals who are feeling stuck. And how do I make the breakthrough? How do I make my dreams come true? Well, we have a way. We're living in an amazing time. We're seeing a lot of negativity going out there in the world. But what we're also seeing are these developmental breakthroughs for the human being to fulfill our godly potential. So the 7 mindsets begin with one way of thinking, that everything is possible. The moment you start doubting that something that you would desire to happen in your life is possible, is the moment you start going down in terms of what you can achieve and how joyful you feel. We have found that joy, happiness, does not come from what you achieve or how much money you have or how many friends you have or what your job is or how many bills you have paid or have unpaid. Your happiness comes from your mindset. And what we have also discovered is that joy is your true currency. The more joy you live in, the more prosperity you will find, particularly when that joy is unconditional. When you look at a situation and your response to that situation is joyful because you're in touch with the power that can do all things, that is absolutely indomitable, and that is always here for you, and that will never allow anything bad to happen to you, no matter how bad it may look on the outside. You're always getting exactly what you need to go through to grow through. Exactly right. And the moment you start thinking that somebody has a better situation than you, it's the moment you start rejecting the gift that God has given to you. You're saying, God, please help me. And God's saying, here you go. Exactly what you're getting is the help you need, because there's nothing going wrong in your life. There is nothing going wrong in your life, no matter how it looks. Whatever you lose, you find out you can grow from. Amen. Whatever you can't have, you can grow from. And what is it that you grow into? A more powerful, capable, content, fulfilled, joyful servant of the Lord. First mindset is everything is possible. What does that mean? That means that you have to open your mind like when you were a child, and open your heart and ask yourself, if everything is possible, what would I like to happen? And as you start taking the limits of what you want to happen, you start experiencing more joy, more power, and more possibility. The second mindset is my favorite one. It's passion first. You were given certain gifts and talents that bring you joy to use and to develop and to share. And that's the key to your happiness, and that's the key to your prosperity. Is going in the direction of your passion, is living with passion. See? The passion that I feel, I don't get from outside. I give outside. You have to connect to your passion, and you do it by using and developing the gifts and talents that God gave you, by pursuing the things you're really interested in learning, and connecting to the passion of the moment, the passion of now, the passion of infinite possibility. That your job is to go inside and find that joy song in your heart and milk it. When you are experiencing passion, you are experiencing purpose, and a higher potential comes through you. So if you're walking around through the day and you're feeling a lack of passion, and you're wishing something would happen outside to rekindle the spark, let that go. It's going inside to rekindle the spark, and then your life changes, because your life is a reflection of your spirit. The outer world is a reflection of your spirit. There's only one spirit, and we all have a portion of it. And as we raise our own spirit, as we allow God to raise our spirit with hope and with faith and with prayer, as we allow our spirit to rise, as we allow our spirit to rise, we're lifting the whole spirit of the whole human race. And we're making everything possible for the planet, despite appearances. Kindle your passion. Listen to what empowers your passion. View what empowers your passion. Turn off the news when it gives you the blues. Right? Watch who you're spending time with. Watch how your passion is affected by the people you're around. But don't make it anybody else's business to keep your fire lit. Keep your fire lit. You can trust that you can treat yourself well and get away with it. Because if you don't treat yourself well, you won't get away with it. You can't ground yourself down to nothing and work with a sense of burden. You can't just trust perspiration, you got to trust inspiration. Success with stress is bondage. You're here to have joy in your heart and to follow the path of joy each and every moment. And as your joy is uplifted and expanded and empowered, you will experience whatever grace you might want in your life and then some. Your life will be transformed by the joy in your heart. And whatever you have to work through inside to lift the spirit within you, do it. That's priority number one. Passion first. The third mindset is we are connected. How I treat you is how I will be treated by you. We are connected. There's not a single good thing that has happened to you or I that did not come through another human being.
Amen.
And there's not a single good thing that you want to happen to you that will not come through another human being.
Amen.
Relationships are essential. There's no excuse to not treat another with compassion and respect, no matter what they've done. It's easy to love your friends. It's easy to love your friends. But in God's world, you have no enemies because God is one and God is in charge. And everything that happens to you is between you and God. And as soon as you relate to that as God's gift, and you know God is perfect, and whatever you receive is perfect, and you just have to work free of whatever's coming out from inside of you that prevents you from seeing the perfection of this moment. As you work on lifting your own spirit, you lift my spirit, you lift every spirit, and we're here to lift each other's spirit. That's what it means to pray for somebody. How can I lift this person's spirit? I want to lift this person's spirit. The person who cheated on me, the person who lied to me, the person who treated me like I was dirt. How do I lift that person's spirit, God? How do I lift that person's spirit? That transforms your heart. That transforms my heart when I do that. How do I lift your spirit? What can I do for you? How can I help you now? My intention and my desire to be of service to you, to lift off whatever chains are binding you, are binding your joy, are blocking your joy, are blocking your faith. I want to unlock and lift off for you to recognize that the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, even if you knoweth it not. Even if you knoweth it not. Your world is opening up for you, right here, right now. You're learning how to trust that you're always in God's love, and that no matter what or who is taken from you, you can still fly, you can still soar, you can still expand, you can let go, you can trust what has to go, and open up and allow your heart and your spirit and your soul to soar. And when you allow that to happen, that's when the opportunity's door will open up for you. It's from within, and it's with each other. Who do you have to be more kind to? Because you can't be unkind to another person without you being unkind to yourself. There's nobody more miserable, more tortured, more unhappy than a bully. Because what a bully's doing is treating another person with cruelty. And we're connected. You can't bring someone else down without going down with them. How do I lift that person's spirit? How do I serve? So who do you need to be kinder to? How are your relationship skills? How are you connecting with the people in your life, with the passersby? We can all work on that. We can get more conscious. We can get more present. We can be more aware of how we're impacting the other people in our lives. How do you want to impact someone? You know, if someone does something and you find yourself reacting with anger, you're being guided. As soon as you get angry, you're being guided to take action. And it's not a holy action. Even to the people you love the most. When you're getting angry, you're getting guided. Something says, strike out, strike back, lash out. Do something spiteful. Make them feel bad, humiliate them, put them down, bring them down. Why do people act that way? Because they're being guided to mistreat another human being because they got into the wrong state. They got into the wrong spirit. They let the wrong spirit abide in their house. See? Now, when we go into a deeper level of intention, and we remember, what I want to do is lift this spirit up. I want to liberate this person. Whatever they have done to me, I want to liberate this person. And what does that make of me? How powerful does that make me? How positive does that make me? What are the blessings that come from that powerful spirit inside me? But that's not what I do it for. I have to have the right intention. Now, when I have that right intention, what comes in and guides me? Maybe to say an inspiring word. Maybe to feel forgiveness. Maybe to just walk away and say a prayer. But as I live in that intention to be of service, I am guided. And those negative spirits, they can't come in and drive me to make mayhem out of someone else's life, because that would just make mayhem out of my life. So we're all connected. And one of the things we're going to be working on over the next 3 days as we go through the 7 mindsets is you're going to learn how to build your dream team. Your dream team. So what does that mean? That means that if you had a coterie of people in your life that could take you to the next level, that could take you to the nth level, that could take you to the infinite. If you had a group of people in your life, what kind of people would those be? Did you know you become like those you spend time with? Did you know that in your life you have some people who put you down or bring you down and lead you down? And you have some people who pick you up and bring you up and lead you up? And you've got to be discriminating in who you hang out with, because we become like those we spend time with. And you want to minimize your involvement in the people who have negativity coming towards you, and build the relationships with people who are supportive of you and help you believe in yourself. And you know how you build a relationship with someone? No matter who it is. I presented this to salespeople a couple of years ago. And somebody said, well, you know, when I go in to sell my product, they don't want to see me. How would the 7 mindsets help me? I said, because the 7 mindsets teach us to build relationships by leading with value. How can you make yourself more valuable to the people you want to connect with? How can you be more valuable? You can be more valuable by remembering your intention to serve. The people in your life are the most important commodity in your life. The people. And as we relate to people better and better, we get better and better things coming back to us. So you want to start to think about the kind of people that you would love to have in your life that you think can open all the doors for you. And say, come on in. And as you think of those people, you're going to find them showing up in the most mysterious ways, like a pastor showing up at a CEO Brain Trust meeting who hears God speaking through me and says, come on in and talk to infinity and eternity. Now, who wrote that book? Okay, so you want to start thinking about the kinds of people you want in your life. And you remember the principle when we go back to the everything is possible mindset, one of the practices for that is thinking positive. And you realize that you bring about what you think about. How much time do you spend thinking about what you don't want? How much time do you spend thinking about what you fear? How much time do you spend thinking about what you don't like or who you don't like? How much time do you spend worrying? See, it's by your faith are you healed. You can't necessarily control what's happening outside of you, but you can start to control your thoughts. And you have to be very careful of the thoughts you allow into your head.
Because if you dwell on thoughts that bring you down, that bring your spirit down, remember, it all comes from your spirit. Passion first. Your spirit comes first. What spirit are you living in? Are you living in the spirit of like this? Because that's where you're headed. Or are you living in a spirit of everything is possible? Beyond whatever I can imagine. That the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth. That I have nothing to fear. That whatever I lose, I can learn how to grow without. Whoever I lose, I can learn how to grow without. I have been through the depths of the valley of deep, dark depression. And it was the greatest journey I ever made. Because the liberation that I got out of there was to fear nothing. Because anything that comes my way is an opportunity for me to grow free of my attachment to what's out there and just build my relationship with the divine. I promise you, you are in heaven. You are not born. You do not age, and you will not die. You're right there now. And everything that your heart's desire is your Father's pleasure to give to you. But when you start thinking and worrying, you spoil the journey. That's what I want you to start to feel in your spirit. I want you to feel that you're on a voyage right now, a heavenly voyage, and you just got to let go of what you have to leave behind and trust and open your heart to the infinite, eternal fulfillment that is available to you now. And you just keep opening up to that. That's where you live. That's the reality. Only the pure of heart shall see the face of God. Now, yes, we can go to another slide. Oh, no, we stay on that slide. Stay on that slide. So, yes, we have to go through people. We have to leverage every relationship. Every relationship is a golden opportunity. But we are 100% accountable for taking the journey. We are 100% accountable for the choices we make. We are 100% accountable for what happens to us. The key to improving your circumstances is just improving your reaction to your circumstances. So I gave this talk on 100% accountability to someone years ago. And he said, Bob, I don't think I'm 100% accountable for what happens to me. And I said, really? Give me an example. He said, I'll give you a perfect example. I was driving on the freeway, and there was a car right behind me, tailgating me, for like 10, 15 minutes. And then I had to step on the brake. And boom, he rammed into me. Now, how in the world was I responsible for that? I had no responsibility for that at all. I said, now, he was following me for 15 minutes. Now, what would have happened if you would have changed lanes? Instead of being so prideful. He walked out of that seminar mad at me. He did not want to hear that. He was really angry. He was steaming mad. He thought I made him mad. Nobody makes you mad. Mad is how you get in reaction to what somebody does. Mad is a spirit you allow into you. No one puts you there, right? If you feel disrespected by someone, that's a spirit you're putting into you. They can be whatever they want to be, but you know what? The people who show you disrespect are giving you the biggest favor because they're saying, you can't count on outside. You can't count on outside. And here's the good news. You don't have to. Because as soon as you're counting on the outside, you're counting on money to give you security, you're counting on friends to give you security, you're counting on somebody else to give you security, you're counting on your house, your job, your neighborhood. Anything you're counting on the outside is fading away right before you touch it. It's a cloud, it's a mirage, it's not there, and you don't need it. And that's the true awakening. You don't need it. You're above all that. And when you're above all that, it all comes up to meet you. That's how it works. These are actual formulas for how life works. These are keys to open the door to the kingdom as we use it. We think along the lines of everything is possible. We remember passion first. The spirit that I'm living in is first. We remember to work on our relationships and to be of help. Always look, how can I be of help? How can I be of service? How can I raise the spirit in this person up? Not talk behind their back and vent. You don't want to be a venter anymore. They used to think venting was cool. Venting's not cool. Because whoever you vent in front of, they figure you vent about them when they're not around. Because there's no trust. Who we are behind their back, somebody's watching. And we can't be trusted if we're not trustworthy. You see, you can't fake it till you make it. You got to take it till you make it. So we have 100% accountable. If it's going to happen, it's up to me. How are you spending your energy every day? Where are your thoughts going? You have 4 basic creative forces. I call them your FAST powers. Your feelings, your actions, your speech, and your thoughts. You align those, you're going to get to your goals fast. Your feelings, that's your spirit. That's your passion. Where is it at? Are you feeling disappointed? Are you feeling down? Then go to work inside. Get that up. Don't wait for something outside you to pick you up. Get that up. See, your feelings, the way you feel, the more joyful you are, the more in faith you are, the more every single thing will work out in miraculous ways beyond your wildest dreams. When you can live in that state, in that spirit, you find all I really want is the Holy Spirit. I don't need all that other stuff. And when you don't need it is when it comes. And as soon as you think you need it, it's going to elude you. Because it's going to keep on letting you down, letting you down, letting you down until you learn the truth that you can rise to any occasion. Let it go. Don't struggle anymore for what you can't have. Let it go. Be at peace. Be at peace. Live in the joy of this moment, right? So 100% accountable. I have to do that work. Now, so it's feelings, actions, right? We have to take action, but I think people are too hung up on taking action, right? For my own self, I find that the actions I take, simple, easy, and fun. The real work I do is inside. And then it's just, the door's just open. All I have to do is have the courage to walk through the door. When I was invited to speak here, I could have said, who, me? I don't know what to say. Oh, shucks. Make me feel all blushful. I don't know what to say here. Who, me? What do I know? Right? But the door opened, I went, absolutely. Right? You just have to have the courage to walk through the open door. The door will open for you. Right? And you figure out, what do I need to do? Well, passion first. Make sure you get into that right state, and then you take action. If you go looking for a job and you're down, you're going to find yourself getting nowhere. But when you get into that right spirit, you'll take one step, and it'll be the right place and the right time, and the door will open. Feelings, actions, speech. You bring about what you speak about. Amen. Now, when you talk to somebody and they're talking about all this negativity and all these problems, and they're complaining about this person who was supposed to come and paint their house and he didn't show up, and they lost $100 and they don't know what they're going to do, and they're making a big catastrophe out of it, just let it go through one ear right out there. Don't get caught up in their energy. Don't get caught up in that spirit, because there's nothing going wrong. Everything is fine. The moment you start approaching a crisis with crisis management is the moment you start generating a crisis in your life. You need to lose your appetite for drama. You don't need it. It's too heavy. You don't need it anymore. The times they are changing, and the answer is blowing in the wind. Be free. Just be free. Trust that you can live with a joyful spirit. Trust that you can live with a joyful spirit. And then your work is to not let anything outside bring you down. And then when you have self-command, you have command over your circumstances. When nothing can bring you down, you bring everything else up. Feelings, actions, speech, and thoughts. You bring about what you think about. The most important thing for a human being is to learn how to master the mind. Right? And that takes daily work. You notice, what are you thinking about? What are you imagining? What are you imagining about your life? Every problem you have is in your head. I'm going to teach you how to live a problem-free life. Okay? Every problem you have is in your head. Let it go. It's being handled. I told you, you're in heaven. It's being handled. You're going to have your part to play. And when you're in a good spirit, you're going to be guided into doing just the right thing. And it's going to be easy and simple and fun to do it. Okay? But as soon as you start thinking and imagining, oh, I got this problem and that problem, as soon as your heart is weary, as soon as your heart is troubled, as soon as you're starting to feel down, your spirit is being crushed. And it's you who's doing it by thinking too much, by being in the world. and of it. Letting the world be too much with you, right? The world is, where's the world? The world is at your feet. And where you stand is holy ground. You know why? Because you are a sacred, holy spirit. You are not, as some people say, a spiritual being having human experience. You are a heavenly being having a heavenly experience. But you haven't wakened up yet. And I want to wake you up. I want to wake you up to the joy that I found and to the life that I live, because I'm free. And I've been down, and I'm free. FAST, feelings, actions, speech, and thoughts, 100% accountable for those. And this is the fun one. This made the big breakthrough for Oprah. See? So people think, well, in order for me to be grateful, somebody's got to do something for me. No, gratitude, the attitude of gratitude is about what you're focusing on. See, as my teacher used to say, who I worked with in my 20s, before I found my wisdom teacher, who introduced me to this whole path, the 7 Mindsets is just one of the keys that I use to help people to open the door. And I just do the speaking, I do writing, and I do coaching, phone coaching with people from Australia to Mexico and everywhere in between. But before I met my teacher, I was 21 years old, and I was at the end of my rope. I knew I wanted to be able to write the truth, but I didn't know the truth. I was feeling so lost, so without gifts, so without worth. I was truly at the bottom. I was taking drugs. I was down. And in that depths, I uttered a prayer that I had never uttered before. It came from somewhere. Do you ever have a prayer that came to you, that came through you? And it was very simple. It said, show me what to do and I'll do it. Show me the way and I'll follow it. And it felt like this prayer took me into this chamber of light. And I knew that it was registered. And in that chamber of light, I stayed for a moment, came back. 3 days later, I was walking on the beach. I was a lifeguard at the time in Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York. And there was a man there reading a book. And the cover of the book said, Keys to the Kingdom. And I said, in my arrogant way, so what are the keys to the kingdom? I interrupted his reading. So what are the keys to the kingdom? He put the book down, said, I'm glad you asked it. He started to tell me. And I studied with him for 7 years. And my whole life changed. And Bob Lancer was born. Because I started to see how it worked. And one of the things he used to say, you know what his name was? Is. You know what his whole name was? Isidore Friedman. Think about it. Isidore Friedman. Cool, huh? Right? No accidents. And he used to say, Bobby, control of attention is the master key. Whatever gets your attention gets you. Whatever you put your attention on gets your power. Whatever you focus on will expand in your life. So what are you doing to your spirit with your attention? See, that's where the accountability comes in. So where does gratitude come in? You focus on what you're grateful for. You focus on what you appreciate. We're in such a habit of putting ourselves down and beating ourselves up and saying, oh, I'm not getting enough done. Everybody here probably gets that pressure. Okay, that pressure is poison. Okay? As soon as you start feeling like I'm not getting enough done and I need to get more done, I need to start pushing myself. I start feeling the pressure because I feel like I'm out of control of my life. Guess what? You're out of control of your life. Your life is under perfect control. Just relax. Just relax. Just rest in peace. Just abide in true, deep faith. Now, I'm not saying faith without works. Faith with works, but not works without faith. And that's the trap. My teacher used to call that Americanitis. Work without faith. That's worse than dead. That's hell. Okay? Work is important, but not if you're beating yourself up and if you were abused as a child because you weren't getting enough done and your parents were stuck on that, or your father was stuck on that, or your mother was stuck on that. That's trauma. And as you start using these 7 mindsets and thinking in the ways that we're learning how to think, and we're going to drill deep into these. Tomorrow it's going to go deeper. This is going to be transformative. Tonight it's inspirational. It's motivational. It's giving you the general concept. We start doing real work tomorrow, and we start reaping the fruit on Saturday. And on Sunday we rest. Attitude of gratitude. I want you to think about something right now that you're grateful for, and I want you to tell the person sitting next to you that you're grateful for it. Think about it. And if you're watching this and you're all alone, tell yourself what it is about yourself that you're grateful for. Okay? So all you have to do is focus on what you're grateful for, and your spirit is uplifted. Remember, it's about spirit. It's not about matter. It's about spirit. Spirit is the matter. You raise your spirit. You live in joy. And when somebody comes to crush your joy, you say, oh, thank you so much, because I've been meaning to go to the gym of the Holy Spirit, and you just put me there. Because that's all it is. But if you resent me, so, oh, you're just trying to put me down. You're negative, right? Then you're forgetting, wait a minute. How do I raise this person's spirit? God has placed the people in your life to raise their spirit. I remember when I was going through the darkest time of my life. I was going through a divorce. And if you Google me, you'll see I'm pretty well known as a parenting expert. I used to have I was the parenting expert of WXIA TV and the parenting expert of WSB Radio, and the parenting expert of Atlanta Public Schools, cable TV. And the last thing I wanted was for my children to have to go through divorce. And I was broken. I was so broken I couldn't work. And have you ever been so broken and so depressed and had somebody next to you saying, you're just a lazy, selfish, good-for-nothing, get out there and work? That's what I had. That's what I went through. No matter how hard I tried to raise my ex-wife's spirit, I couldn't do it. And one day, when she left to go with the man that she left me for, I went out with my 2 boys. I have 2 sons, and they were very young at the time. Now they're 10 years old and 16 years old. We went out to plant a tree to symbolize our new life together. And as I held that tree, I uttered a prayer, and I went deep again. And it came through me, and I said, God, I know you have infinite power. Send her back. Don't let this family fall apart. Let us be whole. Please, God. And for the first and only time in my life, I heard God's voice. Because it couldn't have been me, because it wasn't what I was thinking or feeling at the time, and it was a voice as clear as day. And it totally shocked me. I was so surprised. It blew me away. You know what the voice said? Because, I wrote a book years ago called You May Have Been Dumped, But You're Not Garbage, even though you feel like that, right? And so I was being rejected. I was being passed over for another man. I was feeling I didn't deserve anything. And you know what the voice said? She does not deserve you. And I felt the door shut, and the relationship was over, and I knew that it was done. And I lost my identity as a family man. I had built everything. I had achieved everything I wanted in life. And in one evening, and you know what it taught me? That I had placed my faith in the world, not in the Word. I'm telling you, you can't get it from out there. You can chase it your whole life. There's only one thing harder than not getting what you want, and that's getting it. Because that's when you start worrying, what am I going to do with all this money? How are we going to keep this going? How are we going to hold on to this? Who are we going to trust? Who can we trust to invest our money? What are we going to do with this? Oh my God, my relatives are going to take it. They're going to take it. What's going to happen? You're going to have the same level of stress and anxiety you have about money when you're rich as when you're poor. Because you can't get it out there. This is why billionaires are still trying to rip off poor people, because no matter how much you get, you can't have enough. It'll never be enough. Right? But if you start focusing on gratitude, on what you can appreciate, no matter where you are, you can do it in a prison cell. But I've taught to people in prisons. And it was the most rewarding experience of my life. Not far from here in Hill Street. Going into those jails, and they were all black men, and they were powerful men, and it looked like seeing lions in a cage. They had so much energy and so much power. They could have done so much good. And all they could do was pace around, locked in a cage. What a waste of energy. What a waste of potential. What a waste of power. Who's trying to waste that power? Who's afraid of that power? Coming in and bring good into the world. But when I talked to them and I lifted their spirits, oh, what it did to me. And then I got to talk to the women. And they were different from the men in the cages. They were not lions in the cages. They were so depressed they couldn't lift their head off the pillow. And I was talking to them about parenting and how children become who they spend time with. And your children are going to become who you spend time with, who they spend time with. Right? And that's why I do this for teachers and preschool teachers and parents. Right? And I work with teenagers teaching them the 7 mindsets. I mentor them. I work with the Youth Empowerment Foundation of the Arthur Blank Foundation. I work with the Youth Empowerment Group of the Maynard Jackson Youth Foundation. I'm teaching this to teenagers. And through 7 mindsets, the social emotional learning curriculum is going to schools all around. Your attitude determines your altitude. And it depends on what you focus your attention on. You could be a wealthy person in the fanciest restaurant, and you see a hair in your soup, and you lose your temper, which happens every day. It's not the money. It's the attitude. You could be focusing on how grateful you are to be eating in such a beautiful restaurant, having such skilled waiters and such a skilled chef preparing stuff for you, having people who smell nice from nice perfume around you, but no, you're going to get upset because of the hair in your soup. Friends, never give anyone the power to make you have a bad day. Because only you can give them that power. Live with gratitude. Keep a gratitude journal. Start making a list of the things you're grateful for, the things you treasure about yourself. Stop putting yourself down. Let go of the pressure that you're not doing enough. Be grateful that everything you do for what you want works. It's an organic process, and the fruit will come. Faithful works brings the fruit every time. I don't know when it's going to happen. It doesn't matter when it's going to happen. Enjoy the journey. Live with a spirit. Live with a spirit of gratitude. Aren't you glad you can walk? Aren't you glad you can sit? Aren't you glad you can hear? Aren't you glad you can nod? Aren't you glad you can say thank you? Aren't you glad you're here right now? Right? Aren't you glad you're anywhere right now? Right? Aren't you glad you're in heaven right now? And I promise you, you are. You may not believe it. You may think you're still alive, but you passed away. And I'm just here to reorient you. That's just my job. I just reorient all these human beings, all these spirits, and let you, folks, sorry to tell you, you passed away. You're in heaven now, and you got nothing to fear, because whatever you want, boom, it's there. There's no time. Total fulfillment. Total, endless fulfillment is yours. Just relax and stop putting your faith outside. Live in the attitude of gratitude. The 6th mindset is live to give. And this is where most people seem to fall short. Because they really think, I'd be happier if you gave me more. I'm in a beautiful relationship. I found my soulmate. And everybody says, yeah, you're still in the honeymoon phase. I like the honeymoon phase. Right? So what do I love about this relationship? I love to give to her. I love to serve her. I love to try to work with her spirit. I love to try to make her smile. I love to do things for her. I want to do more for her. I don't want her to get up and get me a cup of water. I want to get up and get her a cup of water. I want to treat her so that she feels like she's a queen and a goddess. That she's sacred. I don't want to criticize her and put her down. That was the guy who she left to be with me. You know, they talk about women being nurturing. I'm sorry, guys, but we're supposed to be the nurturers because they're so tender and sweet and soft and powerful. And if you can't treat your woman right, you can't treat earth right because woman is earth. Woman is earth, and she's the field that you're cultivating and you're treasuring and you're nurturing. And you let her know how absolutely beautiful it is, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. The more you treat her as beautiful, the more beautiful she becomes and the more blessed you are. You live to give. We live to give, right? Why I am standing here, and I'm a terrible business negotiator. You know how I open up a negotiation with someone that wants to hire me? I said, look, don't tell anybody, but I'll do it for free. If you can pay me, that's great. But you know what? I wouldn't hold this back. I wouldn't hold me back from giving this experience for all the tea in China, for all the money in the world. There are people who have gifts and they say, well, I got to first, they have business coaches. They say, well, before you give your gift, you better make sure they'll pay you your fee. Are you kidding me? You're going to waste your whole life waiting for a paycheck when you could have been singing your song in church? Amen. How much joy did you get when you gave? Can you imagine oh, no. You got to meet my fee. Right? You'd be heartbroken. You'd be walking around with a song dying in your heart. Right? You don't want to die with your song still in you. So passion comes from giving what you want to give. What is the difference you want to make in the world? Right? I just want to let everybody know they've already passed away. That you're in heaven now and anything is possible. You're set free. You're as free as your mind can allow you to be. And we're just dissolving the limits right now for you to start experiencing the kingdom of heaven on earth. It doesn't mean that everything's going to happen that you like. It means what happens and you don't like it, it's like, okay, well, what's going on inside me that's keeping me from being grateful for it? What's going on inside me that thinks it's negative? Okay, I'm attached to something outside or I'm attached to someone outside. Well, that's where your suffering comes from. That's where your suffering comes from. And you work through that attachment by feeling your grief and feeling your pain and feeling your sorrow and feeling your misery. And when you feel it consciously, you let it come up and you let it melt away. You're not afraid to feel pain. You're not afraid to feel grief. And when you're not afraid to feel pain and feel grief, then you can open your arms to life. And you say, whatever you will have in store is fine because I know I can find my faith within it. I know I can find my gratitude within it. And the way you empower yourself is by giving, by being helpful. Get in touch with your heart right now. What do you want to give? What is the giving that gives you so much joy? Is it cooking? Is it baking? Is it dancing? Is it painting? Is it speaking? Is it trying to speak the word? The word is the vibration that lifts your spirit. I want to reach you so deep. I want to reach you deeper than you've ever been reached before and kindle a flame in you that nothing can put out. And all you do is live to fill that flame and feed that flame until it glows and grows. A Christed flame. You know what the word Christ means in Greek? Anointment. What do you do with oil? You pour it on the fire. You can burn away all the bonds. You can be free. Live to give. What is it that you desire to give? Start giving it. Find ways to give more. And one of the ways we give our best is to become our best. Become our best what? To become our best spirit. And the last mindset, the seventh one. Now remember, this is all based on science. As you think in these ways, As you bring these thoughts to a problem, you say, okay, what are we going to do about our financial situation? Well, first thing we do is everything is possible, so let's get a big dream here. What would be fantastic? What would be amazing? Oh, all our bills are paid. I don't know how it's going to happen. You never know how it's going to happen. So don't even try to figure out. Just know that it's going to happen. Get that spirit going, and it happens, right? Passion first. Okay, we got to get ourselves into a good state here. The business is facing low numbers. That's okay. Let's get everybody rise the spirit. Let's raise the spirits of the organization. Let's get together. Let's do something fun together. Let's pray together. Let's listen to music. Let's build each other up. Let's get into a positive state, right? We are connected. Who can help us? And if I don't know who can help us, what kind of person would be great for us to connect with who could help us? You start thinking along those lines. This is a board meeting that you have in your own head or with other people. 100% accountable. What are we doing that we need to change? What are we doing too much of? What are you doing too much of? What do you start to need to do less of? What are you not doing enough of? Right? How can we change our thoughts, feelings, speech, and actions to bring about different results? Attitude of gratitude. Are we showing appreciation in our lives? Who can we be more thankful for, more thankful to? How can we express our gratitude more fully, more freely, more abundantly? Make sure you're focusing all day long. If you're starting to feel down, hey, look, it might be a dirty carpet, but you got a carpet. Okay? And so you look at what you can be grateful for, and there's a magic to it, because whatever you appreciate grows in your life. Whatever you take advantage, whatever you take for granted, shrinks, diminishes in your life. The time, oh, what time is it? Wrong. The time is now. The time, my friends, is now to take charge of your spirit. The time right now is now. So we could be in a situation where, oh, I'm so sad that we got here. This is too bad. Oh, what's going to happen in our future? Wait, the time is now. What can we do right now for what we want? And you always got to know the first thing to do, passion first. And you can change the word passion to spirit first. What spirit are you in? What spirit is in you? Is it a spirit of faith? Is it a spirit of gratitude? Is it a spirit of joy? Is it a spirit of love? In your relationships, are you about, Father, please show me, how can I raise this person's spirit? What can I do for this person to raise their spirit, to release them from living in so much darkness that they think they have to be mean to me? See? That's what it means to pray for your enemies. Amen. Right? You pray for the spirit to be released, that's shackled in chains, that thinks they have to do bad things, or that they think they have to steal from you because they don't believe that it can come up and come out just from a positive spirit. How you feel is essential. So let me hear you recite the mindsets right now. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. What time is it? The time is now. So I'm going to end with the Handbook of Success. This was taught to me by a guy by the name of Joey Ryman years ago. Every time you shake someone's hand, you're giving them the Handbook of Success. This thumbs up, represents your spirit, your attitude, positive spirit. The index finger means everything is possible. So think about what you would love to happen. If your life turned out perfectly, what would that look like? You start focusing your attention. The middle finger is your attitude toward fear, because it has no more place in your life. The ring finger represents commitment. Be committed to passion first. Be committed to mastering your mind. Just keep working on this stuff. You can always make changes by degrees. I don't care where you are. It's just a step-by-step up to the mountaintop. And the pinky finger represents don't sweat the small stuff. I'm so humbled to be here. The power in this room. I have no idea what I just said. I hope it was good. because I won't remember a word of it. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. May you wake up. Thank you.